ensure, to make sure that our goals that we set for ourselves in our offices, in our various offices, are achieved.
For the Gambian leader, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Jammeh, Cabinet is one big family, and thus every member should work in unison with the rest to ensure the swift execution of government's development programs.
I must thank the Almighty Allah for this day, and I also want to thank the two gentlemen for their commitment, patriotism, and more importantly, the faith they have in the Almighty Allah. I always tell people that if you have not more faith in the Almighty Allah, no matter how well educated you are, no matter how successful you are, one day you are bound to fail. The only thing that gives a human being confidence at all times is your absolute faith in the Almighty Allah and His secrets. For a human being to be able to surmount seemingly insurmountable obstacles, you have to have faith in the Almighty Allah.
President Jammeh reminded the officials that the oaths are always binding on them, whilst assuring the newly sworn officials of his support at all times.
With regards to the oaths that have been taken, whether you're in government or not, after taking all these oaths, they are binding on you. So don't say, yes, I'm no longer in the government, so I can sit down and talk what they are not supposed to talk about. The oaths are eternally binding as long as you do this here. They will be there and binding as long as you can look up and see the sky up. Let me remind you. But what is more important, we all pledge that we are family and let us work as a family.
Appointments to such positions comes with challenges. Challenges which officials believe are surmountable if tackled with dedication and commitment. And after accepting their appointment, the onus now lies on the two to perform up to expectation. As the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is expected. Aissatou Badiane Sarr, GRTS.
Look on with pride at the developments taking place back home. This was the message of the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs during a meeting with a delegation of Gambians in the diaspora in New York. Ababakar Senghor was with the Vice President delegation, and he reports Ajatou Aissatou Saidi also met with the Nigerian Minister of Women's Affairs, Haja Zainab Maina.
Of women, the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs presided over a series of meetings and events hosted in her honor by foreign diplomats from Nigeria and Taiwan. At the Nigeria House in downtown New York, Vice President Jai Sidi held talks with the Nigerian Minister of Women's Affairs, Minister Haja Zainab Maina. The two officials and their delegations later convened a multi-sectoral meeting where experts provided technical analysis of the various instruments in the draft CSW57 document, which is being formulated during the meeting. Both Madam Jai Sedi and Haja Maina spoke of the importance of domesticating some of the more contentious and critical issues in the document and to tailor-made it to suit African countries and the cultures of Africans.
But we want to make it more concrete. I know that there is cooperation between Gambia and Nigeria at the bilateral level, but I feel that the issue of women's affairs needs to be strengthened. We have cooperation in all the other sectors, but I think women's affairs can do a lot. We can move mountains in West Africa if we cooperate. You know, the women of West Africa, I don't have to tell you, they're so enterprising, they're so hardworking. And really, you're talking about beyond 2015. I think they're the women, it's the women that realize that. Because they're into the informal sector, and as it were the private sector, into the formal sector as well. Most of you are, so you can see. The legislators are here, our legislators, so they can do a lot. And once we put network and put heads together, definitely share lessons of good practice, exchange. You can do a lot. As I said, something is happening, but we can do more. And that's why I wanted to take the opportunity here, whilst I'm at the CSW, the 57th session, to meet my sister here and her delegation and concretize some of those issues we had always talked about in the past.
Members of civil society will all come, and of course the businesswomen. You remember, you may recall last time we said we are going to plan a trade fair. This time around we are going to do that. So many things happened last time. Between the time we met and now we couldn't do much, but I assure you this time around we are going to do it. And as soon as I get home, I will inform His Excellency about this visit, and I will get his permission to reach out to you.
The Gambia's experience in properly adopting the CEDAW document was something the Nigerian Senate Chair on Judiciary, Senator Umaru Dahiru, says his country must learn from in order to ensure women's rights issues are put in their proper perspective. Later in the week, the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs and delegation received at the Gambian mission, a delegation comprising Gambians in New York and other areas in the United States. Prominent among them, the Imam of Don's Islamic Cultural Center, Abdullah Pachaha, who held the leadership in Banjul for what he calls the dynamic transformation of the lives of the people of the Gambia. The meeting with the Vice President also provided the representatives of Gambians in the United States the opportunity to inform the Vice President of some of the few problems they are facing. Addressing the delegation, the Vice President implored Gambians in the diaspora to be law-abiding in their countries of residence, while urging them to continue to look back home and take part in the positive developments taking place in the Gambia. Other speakers at the meeting included the Gambia's permanent representative at the United Nations, David Darrell Tommy, an APRC party supporter in the United States, Pap Botu Sane, Imam Abdullah Fati, Mudlamin Toure, and Bishop Hannah Caroline Falheim, all of whom called for the promotion of peace and tranquility in the country. The Vice President rounded up what was a rather busy week with meetings with potential investors who discussed with her planned investments in the Gambia. Members of a consortium that specializes in agricultural production, construction, water purification, and cybersecurity and surveillance networking said they have had a fruitful discussion with the Vice President and are hopeful of traveling to Banjul to work out details of actualizing their objectives of investing in the Gambia.
As the president of TIA Resources Group, Yaro, has mentioned, who is our partner in being, we have a couple of Gambians into the business, and we apparently look forward to bring in key developments to the country and using Gambia as a gateway. And this is where we wanted to meet the Vice President and use the opportunity to see how best we can bring in manufacturing plans to help the nation from areas of employment and improvement to health, helping the women in development and work with different sectors of women in development and rural areas as well, and in agriculture as well, with infrastructural development.
Earlier that Saturday, one Gabriel Christian, attorney at law, a Dominican, also met with Vice President Jai Sidi. After holding talks with Madam Jai Sidi, Christian, who leads a group of investors that focuses on chocolate production, agriculture, told GRTS that his discussions with the Vice President gave him and his group some valuable insights into how to set up shop in the Gambia. For GRTS News, this is Babukar Senghor.
In a bid to rekindle public interest in the crucial role griots play in the entertainment and the narration of history in traditional Gambian societies, a group of griots dubbed Jalikunda are staging what promises to be a mega cultural night. The move, which is intended to be a continuous affair, is born out of the efforts to promote Gambian culture and tradition. The Secretary General of Jalikunda was in our studios to talk about the night of entertainment.
Promote our traditional music and our traditional local Gambian musicians, people who play traditional music. Okay, some of them are very well known in this country, but there are some who are very young and they are not known. So the purpose of this program is to at least expose them also, so that the Gambian people can be aware of their presence in society and what they are doing. Because traditionally, if you look at the functions of griots in society, it is very, very much important, and the importance cannot be overemphasized. But presently, if you look at the music set up in this country, people are deviating from traditional line towards Western end. So we are trying to do this in order to focus the mind of our young ones into our traditional music, to know that the traditional